105.7 Ravens dropped to 1-5, losing 17-3 to the Rams. Then they have a bye, and then everybody hopefully will. Well, the guy that matters most should be back for Chicago, and they play tonight. The Bears doing a doubleheader Monday Night Football. Cooper Rush, $6 million, was supposed to be an upgrade at the backup quarterback position. He hasn't been.
No.
And it's been, and I guess the warning signs were there at training camp and during the preseason. He's been kind of scattershot with the arm, and lack of mobility has been a problemo. Because as Brady was saying too yesterday, he goes, you don't install another offense for Cooper Rush. You try to replicate the best you can, which you do with Lamar, which would lead you to believe a guy like Tyler Huntley would be best equipped to do so.
Well, especially, Bob, when Huntley on the, 3rd and 14 or whatever it was, he runs and then they run the quarterback draw. So running the quarterback was heavily involved, when Tyler was in there. And with Cooper, it wasn't. And the offense, when like Cooper Rush, when I'm watching and Cooper Rush, if we got to 3rd and long, it was like, we've got no shot. I didn't feel like they really had any shot whatsoever. I just have no confidence in Cooper Rush. And going back to training camp, Bob, I mean, like you'd ask, how's Cooper Rush look? I guess I can't tell the difference between him and O'Leary,
Right.
So that's kind of a bad thing. But Cooper Rush gives me zero confidence offensively. And I don't know if the players feel the same way, too. The receivers probably do.
Well, 13 points in 2 games?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of speaks volumes. And as you mentioned, a lack of productivity from the wide receivers. So we heard John Harbaugh also talk about the tush push.
Yeah.
Ill-advised play calls with Mark Andrews being the Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. We all know the Ravens' offensive line is nowhere close to what Philadelphia brings to the equation in strength and power and being able to move. So as we've sat here all year long and lambasted Zach Orr, but about Todd Monken's play calling. We heard the clip there. I don't think Harbaugh was really digging it all. And then Derrick Henry gets stopped on 4th down. We can get into why you should have kicked a field goal and all that, too. I mean, there are a lot of things that played into it, but where the bleep did the tush push come from all of a sudden?
Well, they always run it on and Bob, later in the game, they ran it on short yardage and got it, Mm. So, come on. You got a half a yard. I mean, you get in a huddle and you say, hey, guys, half a yard, just push it, I mean, the second time, I was a little shocked they ran it the second time.
Got Henry back there.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Bob. I hear you. Then they ran it on 4th down and nobody blocked. I mean, right. And even Brady said, I don't like pulling on the half-yard line, which I don't, just because you're moving sideways and then you can get pushed back, and then 84 didn't block anybody. So, I mean, hindsight, it's a terrible call. Should they have gotten? I mean, they get the touchdown there. You're up 10-3, and you got momentum going in. That was the killer when I was watching. I'm like, and I agree with you, Bob. I would have one of the two, probably the first one, I would have handed to Henry. I mean, Bob, he'd been bam, bam, bam.
You're
bam.
there mainly because he got you there.
Right, and he's
reward him.
Yeah.
But anyway, 1-5 is the Ravens' record. Much needed bye for sure if you want to get in and lament what's going on at M&T Bank Stadium. And they're 1-3 at home, too. Let's not forget that. This unstoppable team down at M&T. I mean, it gets loud, it gets rowdy, it gets purple, but it's not like they're unbeatable at M&T Bank Stadium. We've seen that in the playoffs over the course of the year. So if you want to get in, 410-583-1057 is the number. Maryland, speaking of home dogs, they lose on Saturday. They're up 31-24 going into the 4th quarter. They had picked off Raiola 3 times, including a pick 6. They were running the ball. And then the defense couldn't get off the field again. It was just like in the Washington debacle. Washington, by the way, looked good winning again this past Saturday. But we get same old Maryland. It's not same old Maryland gets housed.
I agree.
They get blown out. They get punched in the mouth. They don't respond, and they wind up getting blown off the field. That's what Vinny makes these losses even more frustrating because they should be 6-0 right now. Going to UCLA are rejuvenated.
Oh boy,
UCLA now they're 2.5-point underdogs out there in Westwood before Indiana, now ranked number 3 in the country, comes to town. The frustration of this loss is now you start 4-0. All right, Wisconsin stinks. Let's get to that reality.
Yep.
But, man, 4-0, now you're looking at 4-4 is kind of staring you in the face in a big way. Now you're trying to salvage the Mayonnaise Bowl and hoping things really don't spiral out of control. Because if it is really the same old Maryland, there's a blowout coming up here sooner or later where they don't show up and they just get trucked for 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. Haven't seen signs that that's a reality, but we'll see how they respond to UCLA, which is a completely different team than they were just 2 weeks ago.
Well, and the other thing, Bob, is now because of that they've won 2 in a row, and we heard Mike Harmon talk Thursday that there's some buzz that now that they've won another game, now, Bob, when they go out there, that place may be full.
Yeah.
You know? So that's going to be a lot tougher game than anticipated.
They're underdogs.
Yeah.
Again, they've been underdogs in every Big Ten game this season, now 1-2. Big news, speaking of the Big Ten, and speaking of UCLA beat Penn State 2 weeks ago. Penn State back-to-back weeks, 20-point favorites, and lost both, including this past Saturday to Northwestern. James Franklin out. Fired yesterday. All right, maybe after the season you look at it, but now 0-3 in conference. Drew Aller out for the season on top of it.
And, Bob, they go to Iowa and then got Indiana. They got Iowa, Ohio State, Indiana. So, you're looking at 3 straight losses probably.
Well, that becomes 6 straight losses then.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So, that AD, knowing the AD, I've never met him, but just from hearing, like, the hockey players love him. He's a former football player, Bob, and he don't mess around. Like when they won in Allen, he's out on the ice, chest bumping people and everything else. And, one of the players Friday night got into a fight, and the AD's in the locker room after, and he loved it. He said, "I'll go fight there, coach."
Yeah, Pat Kraft is the AD.
Yeah, Pat Kraft. Yeah, the players love him, and Bob, he don't mess around.
Obviously.
Yeah, yeah. He wants to win at everything. He wants to be great at everything. He wants to win at everything, and I'm guessing that. And like you said, Bob, you made a good point. He wasn't. Franklin didn't. He wasn't Franklin's guy.
And he didn't give him the extension and all of that.
No.
But James Franklin, overall, 104-45. But against AP top 10 teams in his career, with a minimum of 25 games, 160 winning percentage.
Oof.
160. You need to be from Shippensburg State to figure out how that gets bad. I know it's bad. So anyway, James Franklin out. Maryland's got their own problems. I don't want to even start speculating on anything. Get a win at UCLA. I'm going to feel a lot better about the Terps moving forward. But, man, 4-4 is becoming a reality after that great 4-0 start. Baseball ALCS last night. Great game between Seattle and Toronto. Old Gosman was dealing. Former Oriole. He retired 16 in a row until the big dumper got him in the 6th. And then Polanco had a couple of big hits. So Seattle wins there. They're up 1-0. Game 2 coming up this afternoon. And then you got the NLCS. Man, I wish Bob Uecker was around for this.
Oh, yeah.
Brewers and Dodgers, man.
But and I saw that, that would have been pretty cool.
But we'll get into all of that and more as the show rolls on. The Ravens are 1-5. We're all upset about it. But at 1-5, a return of Lamar and Roquan, could that be enough just to navigate through, which should be an easier stretch on schedule? But then again, 1-5 speaks for itself.